in this video continuing from what we've done already in the object-oriented series. We're going to be looking at protecting methods and properties and why we'd want to do so, and we're going to give an example as well. We're going to start afresh with a product class, start afresh with the book class that extends the product class, so a subchild of that class, and we'll take a look at how we can protect properties, methods, and the class as a whole as well. Now, the first thing we're going to talk about is the private keyword, which we haven't, or the visibility modifier, private, which we haven't spoken too much about already. So we'll go ahead and take a look at that, and the difference between protected and private as well. So essentially we're going to go ahead and start to write this product class out again. We're going to keep it very simple just so we can demonstrate what we're talking about. Okay, so what we are first of all going to do is we're going to set a property here that's going to be the price. So I'm going to set this as protected. So I'm going to say protected price. Make sure I keep my underscore in there so I know that it's protected. Then I am going to create a function or a method that calculates the VAT on this product. And obviously when we instantiate a book object, we can actually give it a price. We can call a constructor method to give the book a price, and then we can actually essentially access the method that we're going to create to return the VAT. Now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the private visibility modifier, and then we're going to take a look at protecting methods so that they can't be overridden. Essentially, the whole point of this is if you have a method within your product class that calculates the VAT of a product or anything really, you don't want any new objects to be able to override this, because you want to keep something like VAT at a flat rate. Obviously there's variable cases in this, but this is just an example. So let's go ahead and crack on with doing this. So let's create this method. We'll go ahead and say public function. And let's go ahead and say calculate product VAT. And we're going to return this, so we're accessing the current class or instance of the class, so price times 0.20. So this is essentially going to calculate 20% of whatever this product price is at the moment. So we're done here. We're going to go over to our book class, and we're going to allow this to be given a price. So we're not going to create any additional properties in here. We're just going to use our public function construct, so our constructor method, and we're going to pass a price through to this. So when this object's instantiated, we set this price. So this price is equal to price. So we are as soon as we create an object book, we're passing the price through, which is then available here, and then we can go ahead and we can calculate the product VAT. And because this book class extends product, we have access to this calculate product VAT function as well, or method. So let's go ahead and just say book equals new book, and we need to pass a price through here, so $8.99. So if we go over to our browser and we refresh, nothing's happened, so we've done nothing wrong. But now I'm going to go ahead and we're going to return the VAT on $8.99. So the price is now stored here, or rather it's stored in here, but it's actually, you know, representative of this product class, this super class or parent class. So let's go ahead and use this calculate product VAT method. So I'm going to say echo, and I echo a pound sign here, and we'll say book calculate product VAT, and that's essentially it. So when we refresh, we should get the value here. So we've got 1.798. We could tidy that up. We'll leave it as it is for now. So we've successfully returned the VAT rate on this product. Now, if we know that all products we're going to sell have a standard VAT rate of 20%, we don't want this this method here to be overridden. If it was overridden, someone could easily, well, not someone, but you know, you want to keep the structure of your class. You want to keep its integrity. You don't want it to be messed around with. So what we could do is we could go ahead and we could say public function calculate product VAT, and we can actually go ahead and return something different. And because we've declared this here now, and this is a child class, we're overriding the method here. This is child class. We're overriding the method. So we could return this price times 0.01, for example. Okay, so we've significantly reduced the rate of VAT, and therefore this now relates to this method as opposed to the original method because we've overwritten it. So when I refresh now, you can see that we've got a significantly lower rate of VAT coming through here. So this is obviously a problem. We don't want this to happen. We want to keep the integrity of our overall product class and not allow this VAT rate to be changed. So how can we do this? Well, there's a very simple answer, but then we'll go in to look at how we can, protect different properties as well as the overall class. We essentially use the final keyword, and this means that this method here is final. It can't be overridden. So now, just by adding that final keyword, we're going to keep the method in here. You'll now see that when we refresh, we get a fatal error, which obviously means that everything after this is killed, the script's killed, and it says cannot override final method product, and then we've got our scope operator in there, our scope resolution operator, and we'll calculate product VAT. So we're essentially saying you can't override this method. Now, the final keyword can be applied. Just as a point, when we finalize something, it doesn't mean that we can't access it. So even if I get rid of that, we can still access the method. It's still working. We can still access the method within here, but it's just not able to be overridden. Now we're going to take a quick look at where we can't access a method within another class, and that's if we have a private property, a private visibility modifier. The same with this as well, if this was private as well. We'll just leave this as private here. Now private is going to mean, and let's remove final so we don't get confused. Private here is, I briefly explained a few tutorials back or at the start of this series, what the difference between public, protected and private is. Now a private visibility modifier will mean that the method or the property that you apply private to will only be accessible within that class. I.e., if we are trying to use calculate product VAT on an instantiated book class or object, we're not going to be able to do it because it's private. It's private to this product class. Even though we've extended it, it's not going to let us do this. So when I refresh, you see that we've got a fatal error. We've got the pound sign there, that's fine. But just as we're trying to retrieve the product VAT, we are saying call to private method, and then it's there, and we know that this is private now. So that's just a quick note on private if you hadn't already picked up on the difference. However, if this is protected, which you would rarely do for a function anyway, or a method, then it's still the same because we're trying to access it here. The reason that it works when we have public function is that this property is now protected, but we're setting it within here. Anyway, let's go ahead and look more at this final keyword. So let's say I was to say final here. Final class product. Now, final class product means that this is the last instance of product. Well, this is well, let me start again. Final class product means that this product cannot be extended, essentially. So now when I refresh, we get this class book may not inherit from final class product. So it's telling us that product is a final class. Now what we could do, which would make probably logically more sense, is say final class book extends product, and that means that this works. However, when we go in here and we try to, when we create a new class and try to extend book, which we can do, we can extend, a class as much as we can. We're essentially saying this is the end of the line for books. We can't create anything from a book. A book is essentially a book, which is a product. We don't want to extend this class anymore. So we can quite happily leave this here as an example. Now, when you apply final to a class, the properties and methods within that class are also final as well, so we can't access them or extend them. The same you can do with properties as well. In this case, now it says cannot declare property price final. The final one. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's only available for methods and classes, because by setting a property as final, you need to use a constant instead. However, I'm not going to go ahead and confuse things anymore. Anyway, we've looked at the final keyword now and how we can protect methods and classes, and that's essentially it for the final keyword.